Right, so I just got done talking about the my double Mackinac project and Filson. So we're kind of segueing into this video from the last video. So if you didn't see the last video, go watch it if you so desire. We hadn't been getting a lot of likes lately, so I don't know what the deal is with the likes, but you know what? I don't care about the likes. This is not what I'm getting at here, because I'm not a person who needs. I do not need validation. My background and you know, I know my background and I validate myself. So I don't need people's likes to validate my information that I put out. What likes are for is to get the channel out there, you know, so that people will discover it in their news feed, in their YouTube feed. It will come up more often when there's a lot of likes. Some people have really terrible channels and they have a lot of likes and they have a lot of subscribers, but they don't even know what they're talking about. They're just out there running around, you know, in bikinis and whatnot. You know, they're just showing their, you know, a lot of those channels are like women's channels. I'm not trying to, not bashing women. I have been a lover of women my whole life. You know what I mean? A typical guy that likes women. So, but you know, I'm not all for you women wearing a muumuu on YouTube, but just be normal. You know, just wear a regular outfit. You know, be a woods woman. You know, put on some clothes. Don't be running around in short shorts and whatnot. No, you know what? Us outdoors people, we ain't here for that. We're here to share knowledge with each other. We're not here to look at you know, nudie magazine material on YouTube. That's not what we're here for. You know, and guys who are okay with their girlfriends and their wives doing that sort of stuff, well, that to me, that's an issue. You don't have a whole lot of respect for your woman if you are okay with that. And women don't have a whole lot of respect for their man getting on there and showing their wares to other men. You know what I mean? So I am old school. Enough of that. Well, so Filson, I was talking about Filson at the end of that last video. I had dialogue with the Filson rep, back and forth, about their Mackinac wool coats. Now see, the thing is that they're too secretive, which to me is they're too secretive about their product materials, you know. I mean, I had to dig and dig. I found out that their wool comes from Europe. It doesn't come from Asia. Okay, so I mean, but it's a high dollar item. Filson stuff is high dollar items, and you want to know where the stuff's coming from. It just says imported materials. It doesn't say where from. So I dug around a few years ago, and I found out that their Mackinac wool comes from one of three places: Italy, Switzerland, and one other place. I can't remember the other place. Should have wrote it down, but I didn't. Anyway, what am I getting at here, right? So everybody likes heavier wool. So this is the reason why I really love my old Woolrich coat, is because it is heavy wool, right? So most of the newer products on the market are not really that heavy. Okay, the average Filson Mackinaw coat and double Mackinaw coat is 24-ounce Mackinaw wool. So the double Mac is not a full double across the whole garment. We all know that. It's like a cape and double arms. But that's nice. But it's 24-ounce wool. 24 ounce per square yard Mackinaw wool. And to me, that's just a bit thin, man. That's just cutting corners too much. And then a little bit older Mackinaw wool that they used to use was 26 ounce. That's not a whole lot more, but it is more per square yard, right? It's more. You could feel a difference between 24 and 26 ounce Mackinaw wool, but it's not a huge difference. But if you get a Stormy Cromer single Mackinaw jacket, which I felt a month or two ago, right? Okay, month and a half ago now. It's a month and a half. So the Stormy Cromer single Mac, I probably could have got 3 or 4 of those together to make up 5 pounds of wool that my Woolrich Mackinaw coat is, right? So it was a joke. I was really disappointed. And that's supposedly 26 ounce Mackinaw wool, right? Now, so here's what I'm getting at. I've spent half of the video not getting to the point, which is typically me, right? I'm sorry I'm like that. I get off on tangents and whatnot. But I'm like thinking about things as I'm talking. So I'm thinking about the different stuff about this situation. So the deal with the Filson Rep is this. This woman kept telling me over and over and over and over like a broken record, despite me emailing her pictures of their website of plaid Mackinaw wool coats, okay? She kept saying that they are made with 26 ounce per square yard Mackinaw wool. But the website says on the Mackinaw wool jackets, the hooded Mac jackets, and the wool packer coats, all of those say 24 ounce. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter either or. It says 24 ounce. They call it plaid. I call it tartan. Properly tartan because it comes from Scotland, right? In the American view, they call it plaid. I don't know why they call it plaid. Something for me to research, right? Because I like to learn things. So I'll find that out. Not that it matters for this video. I don't know how many back and forths I had with that woman, and I sent her pictures. I said, look, your website says this. You keep telling me that your plaid wool Mackinaw coats are 26 ounce wool, but yet it doesn't say that on the website. It tells everybody it's 24 ounce. So finally I just told her, I said, look, I said, to me it's 24 ounces until you go ahead and fix your website, back it up, show me something. Because see, then they're legally responsible, right? So if they make a mistake and they tell you if they tell you it's 26 ounce, but it's advertised as 24 ounce per square yard on their website, then they have an out if you get ticked off about it and you try to sue. They can say, well, we have it advertised as 24 ounce per square yard, right? So that's their ace in the hole to get out of getting in trouble if you call them on it. If you took it to a wool mill and said, hey, could you tell me what the ounces per square yard is on this coat? Because if somebody with deep pockets does it, you know, has the gumption, they can walk into any woolen mill that actually mills Mackinaw wool, and there's one right here in New England, okay, where I live. If they want to take a sample of the Filson coat, or a couple of Filson coats, if they got the money, deep pockets, and they want to basically stir up some scrap, they could take those coats into the woolen mill and they could say, take these coats apart, I'll pay you. Take them apart and tell me how many ounces per square yard this wool is. They could do that. I mean, they think they're all safe up there in Seattle or whatever, but you know what? You might be able to pull the wool over some people's eyes, but you ain't pulling the wool over everybody's eyes. And I'm here to tell you, they're just like, Filson is not the company it was 100 years ago or whenever they, were good. Because I don't. Because here's the point of all this. I don't want 24 ounce per square yard Mackinaw wool. 26 is still light if it's really 26. It's still light. I mean, that coat over there, right there, that Woolridge coat, that sucker's heavy wool. That's got to be at least 32 ounce wool. That's what I would think. I don't know, it's heavy. I'm not somebody who mills wool, but it's heavy. Made back when wool was all heavy, right? So I got about 3 minutes left. I'm always looking at my time. I don't like that alarm going off before I shut it down. But the whole idea is to try to find a double Mackinaw wool coat, vintage, that was heavy like my Woolrich, right? I thought, well, I'd like to have one of those double Mac. They look kind of nice. And Filson's a good brand, and Stormy Cromer was out because Stormy Cromer doesn't have a mat pocket on the back, for one. Number two, Stormy Cromer, you never find anything vintage on them basically online because it's not a huge brand like Filson. Filson's a huge brand, but so my whole point was to ask the woman, when did they stop making all of the heavier Mackinaw wool coats? Because that's what I want, because I will not buy new Filson. I told them that. More people need to tell them that. More people need to, because there's an old saying, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Squeak a lot, eventually you get the grease gun, Okay, just stop telling us. We'll fix it. We'll get it right. We'll make it right. But, man, some of these big companies these days, they do not listen like they used to. They used to listen. They get feedback from the field. Hey, this customer, they said this. They were in the far north Arctic, and they were doing this, and da-da-da, and this was a problem, and we need to fix it. Yet they used to listen to people like that. And I'm not talking about their paid reps and all that other nonsense. I'm talking about real world people that just bought the stuff out of their own pocket and were out there using it. The big companies used to listen to people like that. Back in the first days of the North Face, that was a real company. They made real products for real explorers and real outdoors people. The North Face didn't used to be a granola company like they are now. It's a joke. So the North Face is a big joke. Patagonia is a big joke. Most of their stuff is all oil-based petroleum crap anyway, garbage bag stuff. So, and you know what? I don't care if they like what I say or not, because, freedom of speech and all that, right? First Amendment's back. First Amendment is back. I'll see you later.